First of all, welcome to my course. In this course, we are going to learn how to draw flowcharts for building logics. In this, we will be using a tool which is RAPTOR. Flowchart is a graphical or symbolic representation of a process. We represent every step with the help of flow lines. We have a different symbol for representing different types of tasks. The symbols are very simple and easy to understand. It is a very helpful tool for beginners or for any programming language programmers. The contents to be covered are like this. First of all, we will be exploring the basic symbols involved in the RAPTOR environment. Then we can see how many inbuilt functions are available. We will be using any one of that. Third is the files. How to take input from a file, how to give output to a file. Next is how we can use the selection of the steps based on a condition. Next is how to write a comment for documentation purpose. Then we will be using loops for learning the repetition work. Then how to concatenate an output message with the value. Some of the problems to be covered are like this: factorial of a number, how to calculate sum of digits, how to reverse a given number, how to calculate GCD among two numbers. GCD means greatest common divisor. How to check whether a given number is prime or not. How to print Fibonacci series. How to draw flowcharts for arrays. Arrays 1D arrays, 2D arrays. Next is how to read strings or print the strings. And last is how to include a procedure within a flowchart. In this lecture, we are going to explore the RAPTOR environment. First of all, let's see what is the full form of RAPTOR. RAPTOR stands for Rapid Algorithmic Prototyping Tool for Ordered Reasoning. As you can see, first of all, we have the title bar, followed by the menu bar, then toolbar, and on the left hand side we have the symbol palette, below which we have the watch window, and the part which is on the right hand side is the workspace area. So in symbol palette, we have all the symbols which are going to be used in flowcharts. In watch window, we will be able to see all the variables along with their values, how the values are getting changed during the execution of the flowchart. All the things will be visible in the watch window. And in menu bar, we have a number of options which are going to be very helpful while drawing flowcharts. So we are going to explore these options one by one while doing the practice. We have a toolbar in which some of the common options are available. This is the button for doing the execution of the flowchart. And we have one more part which is called the output window, which is also known as master console. So whatever output is there will be visible in this master console window. So let's now draw our first flowchart to calculate the area of rectangle. So for calculating the area of rectangle, we need two inputs from the user. First input is the length of the rectangle and second input is the breadth of the rectangle. So let's take the input symbol. We are getting an option to save the flowchart. So right click on the symbol, select the edit option. You will be getting a dialog box like this, in which we have two text boxes. In the upper one, we have to write the message within double quotes. So my message is enter length, and I am writing the variable name as L, or you can write complete length also. I am writing length, which stands for L here. So second symbol is input symbol once again for taking the breadth from the user. So my message will be enter breadth, and symbol will be, that's the variable name will be B. So we have got two inputs from the user. You will be able to relate that how the message
messages are written in double quotes and how the variables are written with the help of get word. So the next thing is to calculate the area. For doing any kind of calculation, we use the assignment symbol. So I have selected assignment symbol. I am going to add it below the second input symbol like this. Right click on the symbol, select the edit option. Here we are getting two more text boxes. The set stands for the left hand side of the expression and 2 stands for the right hand side of the expression. So in set I am writing my variable name as area, which is equals to L multiplied by B. So after writing these two things, we have to click on done. We will be getting an expression like this. So the last thing is to print the area. So for printing the output, we use the output symbol. So the only difference between input and output is that on the input symbol we have an arrow on the left hand side and in the output symbol we have an arrow on the right hand side. So right click on the output symbol, select the edit option. Here we are getting only one text box and the below one is the suggestion box. It's not a text box, we can't write any content in this one. So in my text box I will be writing my message. So my message is area of rectangle, double quotes closed, rectangle is space, double quotes closed, and as you can see in the example, when I want to print the value of any variable, so for combining the message with the value of the variable, I need to use the plus symbol. Here plus does not mean the addition, it means concatenation. Concatenation means combining two things together. So here we are combining a message along with the value of a variable. So my plus symbol is for concatenation here, followed by the name of the variable, that is area. Because in area variable we have the area of the rectangle. So you will be getting a put word along with the message in the output symbol. So the last thing is to execute our flowchart. Click on the execute symbol in the toolbar. So all the steps which are to be executed next will be highlighted in green color. Okay. So enter length. I am entering 50 as the length. So it is asking me to enter the breadth of the rectangle. So I am entering 5. Not 5. Let's take it as 10. So as you can see, the variable is visible in the watch window along with the value. So let's press OK. So we got breadth as 10 and the area as 500, and in master console we are getting a message area of rectangle is 500, run complete. Total 6 symbols have been evaluated. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 6 symbols have been evaluated. So from this example, you will be able to understand that we have symbols on the left hand side, we have the watch window on the left hand side, we have the whole workspace area in which start and end symbols are by default there. We have a master console in which the output is visible. So all these things help us in building logics. Instead of just doing the visual imagination while building logics, you can actually test the logic whether it is correct or not. This was quite simple example. We will be doing some typical examples as we are going to proceed further in the lecture. So continue with me.
In this lecture, we are going to learn about the distance calculation in RAPTOR flowchart. So before starting with the flowchart, we are going to learn about the formula for calculating the distance between 2 points based on the coordinate system. So let's suppose this is my first point, this is my second point, and I am having the value of x1 for my first point and y1 for my first point. And similarly, I am having x2 for my second point and y2 for my second point. And I have to calculate the distance between these 2 points. So I will be using the distance calculation formula, which is like this: x2 minus x1 whole square. So and add y2
minus y1 whole square. And in the end, we have to calculate the square root of the whole expression. Whatever is the value is the whole distance between these two given points. So let's start with the flowchart now. I will be using the RAPTOR Flowchart tool. So let's start. First of all, I need 4 inputs from the user. So I will be using the input symbol 4 times. Let me insert it 4 times. Then edit the first one. My message is enter first coordinate. Enter first x coordinate. Variable name is x1. Second message is enter first y coordinate. Y coordinate variable name will be y1. y1 is my variable name. So next message is enter second x coordinate. Variable name will be x2. And last is enter second y coordinate. Variable name will be y2. So all these are my 4 inputs which are to be entered by the user. So next thing is we have to use the formula which we learned few seconds back. So my formula will be d. D is my left hand side expression, and I will be using the square root function which is inbuilt. So we got a suggestion here in the lower part. So if whenever you want to insert the suggestion, press enter. It will be automatically inserted in your text box. So in square root function, I will be writing my whole expression. First part is x2 minus x1 brackets close exponent 2 for calculating the power of 2, and second expression is y2 minus y1 then exponent power 2. Let's see whether we have written all the brackets in the proper format. Yeah, we have written all the brackets in proper format. So like this we will be getting the whole expression in the assignment symbol, x2 minus x1 whole square, y2 minus y1 whole square, and the whole square root of the whole thing. In the last we are left with just printing the distance value. So we are going to edit the output box. So first of all, I will be writing my message calculated distance is space double quotes closed, then put the concatenation symbol which is the plus symbol, and then I need to write my variable name, that is capital D. So I got my message in output symbol. So last is to execute this. So we got our symbols highlighted in green whenever they are getting executed. So my first value will be 3, first coordinate, and I am giving 4 as the y coordinate, and for the second point I will be giving 0 for both x and y, so that it will be easy for you people to understand how it is working. So y is also 0. So we know that x2 is 0, x1 is 3. So minus 3 whole square will be 9, and y2 is 0, y2 0 minus 4 will be minus 16, minus 4, minus 4 square is 2 is 16. So 9 plus 16 is 25, and the square root of 25 will be 5. So we got D as 5, and we got message. The calculated distance is 5. So total number of symbols which are evaluated are 8 in number. So that's it. In this lecture we are going to learn about files, how to use files in RAPTOR tool. So first of all, we have to create a text file in which I will be writing my content. Okay, which content I want to read in the flowchart. Let's take the example of our previous example in which we calculated the distance between 2 points. So in this example, I have taken the input from the user. Okay, but right now I want to take the input from a file. I want to store all the distance coordinates in a text file, and I want to read the content from that text file. So I will be writing my content within this text file. Let's suppose my coordinates are 1, 2, 4, 5. So these are my coordinates starting from x1, x2, y1, y2. Not x1, x2, it's x1, y1, x2, y2. So whatever are the inputs are to be written in separate lines, and then we have to save it, save as within the same folder. I want to replace this file and I'm giving it a name as input distance 1. So I saved my file. I don't need this one, this is a blank file. So we have our input in this file. So let's open our flowchart. So in this I will be calling that file with the help of call symbol. So within this I will be using an inbuilt function whose name is redirect input, and within the parenthesis I have to write the name of the file. The name of the file was input distance1 .txt is the extension of notepad file. So close the brackets. So you will be getting a message like this. So we have to execute this. So as you can see that we are not giving input manually. It is reading the input from the file, and we got our distance as 4.2426. So let's suppose I want to store the output in a file instead of showing it on the console. So what I have to do, I have to call the output file. So I will be naming it as redirect output, and whatever is the name of the file, let's suppose output distance1 .txt, double quote closed and parenthesis closed. So this is my output file. Let's execute this one more time. So we have taken the input from the input file. We are not giving it manually, and we haven't got anything inside the console. We just got a message that run is complete and 10 symbols have been evaluated. Last time it was 9. We have inserted one more symbol for the output file, and let's see what we got inside this. We got our output file in the same folder in which we was saving all the files. So let's see what we got here. Calculated distance is 4.2426. So as you can learn that how to use these files to take the input and to give the output. Let's suppose I'm inserting one more file. I'm having multiple text files. Input distance 2, and I want my flowchart to ask me to select the file manually by giving me a dialog box to open the file instead of using only one single file. So what I will be doing, sorry, I haven't saved the symbols. I need to reinsert it one more time so you can see how I have done it previously. So redirect. Whenever you want the flowchart to ask you that which file you want to open, so you have to write true. You can also write yes if you want. So this will not be asked. This will not open only one single file. It will ask you which file you want to open. And similarly, we can store the output according to our wish in which file we want to store. So we will. It will be asking us to give the file name as the output. So let's save it first so that we should not lose this content. So it is asking me which file you want to take as input. So I want to take this file as input, and it is asking me which file you want to give as output. Let's suppose I want to give output distance 2 as my file not found. Okay, I have to create it first. So I am selecting this one only. So this time it asked us to open the files to select it manually. Let's try it once more. I'm giving it some values. Let's suppose I'm giving it 2, 4, 5. Sorry, we have to enter it in new lines. 4, 5, 6. So this is my input, and I'm creating one more output file. text document, and I'm naming it as output distance 2. So this will be my output file, this will be my input file. Output file is empty right now, input file is having these values right now. So let's open our flowchart once again and execute it one more time. So it is asking us to select the input file. I selected the input distance 2 file, and it is asking once more to select the output file. So we got our message that run is complete. We can check our files now. So let's see what is there in output distance. Calculated distance is 3.6.
In this lecture, we are going to learn about selection symbol. Selection symbol is used whenever we need to decide something based on a condition. Like we have already covered an algorithm to check whether the given number is even or odd. So my condition was divide the number by 2 and check the remainder. If it is 0, then the number is even, otherwise it is odd. So in this example, we are going to draw an flow chart to calculate the area of a circle, and I will be checking whether the radius is positive or negative. Let's suppose this user entered a negative radius. So we will not be able to calculate area for that radius. So we have to decide based on the radius whether to calculate the area or whether to give a message to the user that radius is negative, we can't calculate the area. So let's take the input symbol first of all. Take the radius from the user. Write your message within double quotes. Enter radius of the circle. Double quotes closed. Then your variable is r, or let's suppose take it as radius. So we got our message along with the variable name. Next thing is to check whether radius given by the user is positive or negative. If radius is greater than 0, that means we can calculate area. Otherwise we can't calculate area. So if the radius is positive, what's the next step? We have to calculate the area. So in set we will be writing the left hand side of the expression. In 2 we will be writing the right hand side of the expression. So I will be writing pi, or let's write it small pi, into radius into radius. We know the formula is pi r square. So instead of the value of pi, I am using pi, which is an inbuilt variable in Raptor, which stands for pi value 3.14. So we are getting an option to save our flowchart. I will be saving it as flow 3. So we got our message, expression within the assignment symbol. So next thing is to print the value of area. So my message will be area of the circle is space double quotes closed plus area. Area is my variable name. I have to write area. So on the either side, when the radius is not greater than 0, that means radius is negative. Then we have to write a message to the user that radius is negative. Just write the message radius. It is message, not variable. Radius is negative. Area cannot be calculated. So done. So we got all the things intact. Let's execute this. First of all, I am entering 5 as the radius. So area becomes 78.5398, and let's execute it one more time, and this time I will be giving it as -5. So I got message radius is negative, area cannot be calculated. So try to do this example by your own. Okay, let's see one more flowchart. In this we are going to calculate the student grade, and we will be printing one message with the student passed or failed. So this is quite simple example. So I will just be showing you this. I have already saved this flowchart. So this one is a comment. Whenever you want to write a comment means the documentation part. So
Whenever you want to add a comment, right click on the symbol and select the option comment. So here you can write your comment. I have already written it. So first of all, we are taking the marks of a student for 5 subjects. Enter marks 1. Enter subject 1 marks out of 100. Get M1, M2, M3, M4, M5. And after this, we have to calculate the grade. Add all the marks divided by 5. That will be stored in grade variable. If grade is less than 50, failed along with the grade. And if grade is greater than 50, then passed. Okay. So let's execute this. Marks for first subject, let's suppose it is 55, 65, 75, 85, 95, 92. So he passed the exam with 74.40. In this lecture, we are going to learn about loops. Whenever we need to do some kind of repetition, whenever we need to repeat some steps, some statements again and again, then we use the concept of loop. So let's print hello message 5 times with the help of loop, or you can print it any number of times according to the input given by the user. So let's take the input from the user, how many times he or she wants to print the hello message. So let's give our message how many times you want to print hello. So I am taking times as my variable. Okay. So next thing is we have to take one starting variable, starting from 0, or you can also start it from 1. Okay. Let's start it from 1 and we will go till the number of times as mentioned by the user. So let's initialize a variable which is going to check how many times it is increasing, how it is increasing from 1 till the number of times mentioned by the user. So let's take it as I. So initially it is 1. So after this I am going to use this loop construct. So whenever you are going to insert this, you will be getting a structure like this. So the limitation of loop here in Raptor is that you have to write condition in such a way that it should not get satisfied whenever you want to repeat some steps. If it is getting satisfied, then you are going to move directly to the end. Okay. So what should be my condition here? So that I should iterate within the steps. So my condition will be, what is my initial variable? I. So I should be, if I is greater than times, then we should exit the loop. So whenever this condition is going to be satisfied, then we are going to move to the end. Otherwise we are going to iterate within the steps. So if this condition is not getting satisfied, initially let's suppose user entered 5 number of times and I is 1. 1 is not greater than times, that is 5. So this condition will not be satisfied. So here we should print the message. We are getting an option to save flow 5. So in this I will be writing my message that is hello everyone. So after printing it one time, we need to increase the value of I for the next repetition. So for doing that, I will be using the assignment symbol, and in this I will be writing I equals to I plus 1 for the next repetition. So you will be getting like this. So we have got our flowchart intact. Let's execute this. And in the watch window, you will be able to see how the values of I is getting changed. So I want to print it 5 times. So initially I is 1, then I is 2, then I is 3, I is 4, then 5. When I is going to become 6, it will stop executing. So we got hello every time, everyone. And how many number of times the symbols have been evaluated? 26 number of times. Let's check how we got 26. So 1, 2, 3. So this one is 4, 5, 6, 7. Once again 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, last is 26. So like this we will be getting the whole thing done. In this lecture we are going to print table of a number. So for printing the table, first of all we have to ask the user which table he wants to print, take the input from the user, write a message here, enter a number to print its table. So whatever is the number will be stored in n. After this we have to take one loop variable which will be starting from 1 and it will go till 10. We want to print first 10 multiples of n number. So I'm taking an assignment symbol here and I will be using I as my loop variable which is initialized to 1, that is first multiple of a table, and we will go till 10. We want to print first 10 multiples. So I will be using a loop here. So you will be getting a structure like this. We have to write condition here, edit the condition part, and we have to write condition in such a way that whenever the condition is getting satisfied, we will be moving to the end of the flowchart. So write the condition that when I becomes greater than 10, that means when we have already printed first 10 multiples, then we have to exit. So I have written my condition. Let's suppose my condition is not getting satisfied for first 10 multiples. So what I have to do? I have to print the output. That is, I have to multiply the numbers and I will be writing the output in such a way that I should be getting the table in the form of a full structure. That let's suppose I want to print the table of 5. So I will be getting an output like 5 multiplication symbol 1 equals to 5. So I want to print the output in such a way. So for doing that, first of all I have to print the value of n variable concatenated with the symbol multiplication, close the double quotes, concatenated with the value of I variable, that is the multiple value, concatenated with double quotes equals to, and concatenate it with the final value n multiplied by I. So let me use magnifier if it is not visible to all. I'm using a magnifier here. Is it visible to all? Yeah, I think it is visible. So n concatenated with multiplication symbol plus the value of I concatenated with equals to symbol, and in last we are concatenating it with the result, that is n multiplied by I, whatever result we are going to get. Let me close the magnifier first. So you will be getting a statement like this. And what is the next step? We have to increase the value of I for printing the second multiple of the table. So for increasing the value, we will be using assignment symbol. So I equals to I plus 1. So we have completed our flowchart. Let's execute this. So I want to print the table of 5. Here you can see the value of I is getting changed for second multiple, third, fourth multiple, fifth multiple, sixth multiple, seventh multiple, eighth multiple, ninth, 10, and after this I is going to become 11, and we proceeded to the end. And we got our output in the proper way. For 5 multiplied by 1 equals to 5, till 5 multiplied by 10 equals to 50, and total 46 symbols have been evaluated. That you can check how 46 came. By whenever the symbols are repeated, they will be counted in the total symbols evaluated.
In this lecture, we are going to calculate the factorial of a number. So first of all, we have to build our logic how to calculate the factorial of a number. We know that if I am writing 5 factorial, so it is calculated like this: 5 into 4 into 3 into 2 into 1, and it will give us 120 as the answer. And even if I'm going to do only this part, then also I will be getting 122. So it is of no use for multiplying 1. So let's see how this logic is going to be embedded inside a flowchart. So first of all, whatever is the number, let's suppose I'm taking the number as n from the user. So in every step I have to reduce it by 1, n minus 1. 5, then 4, then 3, then 2. So I have to reduce it in every step. And the next part is, first of all, I have to store this 5 in some variable. Let's suppose I am taking f as my variable. I will be taking it as 1 initially. So next time I will be doing f with n. So f is 1 right now, n will be 5 initially. So I will be getting 1 into 5, and whatever I am getting, I will be storing it again in f. So I will be getting, first of all, f is 1 and n is 5, and I will be getting 5. Okay. Next step is n will be reduced to 4. So next time f is 5. So this f, 5 will come here into 4. So my result will be 20. Next time n will be 3, and this 20 will be the value of f. So 20 multiplied by the current value of n, that is 3. So I will be getting 60. Next time n will be reduced to 2, and we will be getting the 60 into the value of n, that is 2. So I will be getting 120. And we have to repeat this step until n is greater than 1. So in next step n will be 1, which is not greater than 1. So we have to stop here. So we will not be doing calculation once again for 1. So my last value will be 120. We know that 5 factorial is 120. So what I have to keep in my mind, I have to take a variable for storing the result, and I have to decrease the value of n in every step. So let's draw the flow chart. First of all, I have to take the input from the user. So I will be using input symbol. Let's save our flow chart. It's flow chart number 7. So let's give us our message to the user: enter a number to calculate its factorial. So I will be storing that number in n variable. Next thing is, I have to initialize the resultant variable, which will be multiplied by n during every step. Let's take that as f, initialize to 1. Next thing is, we have to use the loop part, and in this condition will be if n is equals to 1. Whenever n becomes 1, we have to exit. Or we have one more part. We know that 0 factorial is also 1. So we will be writing one more part. If n is equals to 0, then also we should exit the loop. Because fact is already 1. If we got 0, we should not enter the loop, and we should directly print that output or the factorial is 1. So we have these two conditions. I have used the OR operator. OR means either the first condition can be satisfied or the second one. If any one is getting satisfied, then we can exit the loop and we can directly print the out factorial. So let's add the steps which are going to be executed whenever the n is not 1 or n is not 0. So we have to calculate the value of x. As I have already told you, f will be equals to f into n. So f is the variable for storing the result.
final result as well as intermediate results. N is my variable for which I am going to calculate the value. So after doing the calculation, we have to decrease the value of n also. So I will be writing n equals to n minus 1. So last is whenever this condition is getting satisfied, we have to print the final result. We need to exit the loop. So here I will be writing factorial of space concatenated with the value. That is, whatever is the value in n variable should be printed here. And then I am writing is and concatenated with the final result, that is f. So we will be getting a message like this: factorial of whatever is the value of n is whatever is the value of f. So let's see how this is going to work. So I will be calculating 5 factorial. So as you can see, it is starting from 1, then 5, then 20, then it will be 60, then 120, and whenever n becomes 1, we have printed our output. So factorial of, okay, so yeah, I have done one mistake because n will be 1. So if I want to print the value of n, then I have to store it first of all before doing the decrementation part. Let me take one more assignment symbol, and I will be storing x, or I can take it as num n. So whatever is my number will be stored in num, and I will be printing that num in my output. Otherwise I will be getting 1 only because n is decreasing in every iteration. Let's execute it one more time. As we can see that numbers are getting changed in the watch window, and we reached the value 1 and we got our output. Factorial of 5 is 120. In this lecture, we are going to do a flowchart which is going to calculate the sum of digits of a number. So let's explore this. So let's suppose my number is 3, 4, 7, 2. It's 2. Okay, I want to calculate the sum of digits. So what is the sum of digits? 3 plus 4 plus 2. So it gives me 16 as the sum of digits. So I want to draw a flowchart for calculating the sum of digits. So what is the logic behind this? So let's suppose my number is 3472, as I have already told you, 3472. So we will be dividing this number by 10. So we know that 10 threes are 30. I am doing it in very simple way. You can divide it directly also. So next is 10 fours are 40. Next remainder I got as 7, 72. 10 sevens are 70. And I got 2 as my remainder. So next time my number, that is my dividend, we know that dividend is the part which is written here. This will become my dividend. 3, 4, 7 and 10. And we are going to store the previous remainder in some variable which is initially 0. So after this it will become 2. So next time 10 threes are 30. 47 is the next part. So 10 fours are 40. Remainder will be 7. And we are again going to add this part in the sum. So sum will become 9. So next time 10 will be, this is going to be my dividend, 34. So 10 threes are 30. So 4 is my remainder. So I am going to add it once more in this value. So it is going to become 13. Next time this is going to be my dividend. Let's take it like this. So we know that 10 can't divide 3. This is 10. So 10 zeros are 0 and we got 3 as the remainder. and add it once more in this 13. So we will be getting the 16 in my sum variable, that is the sum of the digits. So what are the three main points? First of all, we have to divide the number by 10, and whatever is the remainder, add that remainder in the sum variable, which is initially 0, to avoid the garbage values. And next thing is, after doing the addition, whatever is the previous quotient will be the next dividend, and divisor will be 10 throughout. Okay, so let's do one flow chart based on this thing. Let's draw this flow chart. So first of all, take a number from the user, use the input symbol, enter a number to calculate its sum of digits. So whatever is the number will be stored in n. So next thing is, we have to initialize the sum variable to 0 to avoid the garbage values, because we have this problem whenever we write some code in any programming language of garbage values. Okay, so to avoid that, we will be initializing the resultant variable, that is sum, to 0. Next thing is, we have to use a loop. Okay, because we are going to do the repetitive division and addition and all that part. So what is my condition? We have to write a condition to make the loop stop only if the dividend becomes 0. Okay, so if n becomes 0, then stop the loop. Okay, if it is not 0, then we have to calculate the remainder, then add the remainder in the sum variable and make the previous quotient as the next dividend. Okay, so first of all, we are going to write one step, which is store the remainder after dividing n by 10, and for taking the remainder we have the mod operator, not the division one. Division gives us the quotient, mod gives us the remainder. Okay, remainder cannot begin as an assignment. Okay, I think it is an inbuilt variable, so I will be writing remainder full. So next step is, whatever is in remainder, add that to sum and make it as the new value of sum. Okay, so sum is initially 0, 0 plus the previous remainder will become the new sum. And last step is, let me scroll it. Last step is, whatever is the previous quotient will become the next dividend. So n divided by 10, whatever quotient I will be getting will become the new n, and it will be iterated once again. And we have to repeat this process until my dividend is equals to 0. If my dividend becomes equals to 0, then the last part is print the value of resultant variable, that is sum. So I will be printing my message, sum of digits is space plus concatenated with the sum variable. So let's execute this. So I will be taking 3472, my same number, which is going to be 16 as my sum. So as you can see, we are getting float values. I don't want these float values. So let me stop this. What I can do, I just want the complete quotient without decimal part. So I will be using a floor function. Floor function will give us the part which is before decimal. Okay, so floor is, let's suppose 5.5 is my value. So floor will make it 5, and we have one more function like seal, which is going to make it 6. So floor gives us the lower part and seal gives us the upper part. So I want the lower part right now. So this will give me, if the number is 6.3, so this will give me 6, not 7. Seal will give me 7. So try to use these functions. So I am giving it 3472. So as you can see, we removed the float part. Float means the decimal part. And we got last thing as sum as 16, and this time it is going to exit, and we got sum of digits is 16. Last time we halted the run, so that's why it is showing that part. Run of digits is sum of digits is 16. If you want to print the number also, then you have to store it in some other variable, because n will be decreasing to 0. So if you want to print the number also, you should store it in some other variable and use that variable in the output part. Let's suppose sum of digits of space double quotes concatenate with the num concatenated with the message is like this. So as you can see, sum of digits is concatenated with the value of num is okay. Let's execute it one more time. So take a different number this time, 6, 4, 7. It should give us 17 as the sum of digits. So you've got 17 here. So n will become 0, and it is going to show you sum of digits of 647, that is 6 plus 4, 10, 10 plus 7, 17. In this lecture, we are going to draw a flow chart for doing the reverse of a number. Let's suppose I have taken for a number like 4 to 7 as my number. I want to make it as 7 to 4. So for doing this, first of all, I have to take a variable reverse, which is going to store the result, and I'm going to take it initially 0. And for doing the whole process, it is quite similar to calculating the sum of digits. So we are going to divide the number by 10. So 1042 will give us 420. So remainder will be 7. First of all, whatever is the reverse will be multiplied by 10 and remainder. So remainder is 7 plus 10. Before doing the addition with remainder, it is multiplied with the reverse. So this will give me 0 plus 7. So I will be getting the reverse as 7. So it will be changed to 7. Okay, next time, whatever is the previous quotient will be taken as the next dividend. So 10 4 will be 40, and I will be getting a 2 remainder. So do this calculation once more according to this formula. So reverse is 7, previous value, multiplied by 10 plus the current remainder, that is 2. So we got this 7 from here and we got this 2 from here. So it will become 70 plus 2. So reverse will be next time 72. Last step is our previous question will become the current dividend divided by 10. We can't divide 4 by 10, so 10 zeros are 4. We will be getting 4 as the remainder. So do this step one more time. Okay, reverse is currently 72 according to this, multiplied by 10 plus the current remainder, that is 4. So 72 multiplied by 10, 720 plus 4 will give us 724. So we got the reverse as number. We can't proceed further because the question is 0. So next time we can't take dividend as 0. We can't take. In this lecture, we are going to learn how to calculate GCD of two given numbers. Let's suppose we have 64 and 14 as my numbers. So I'm going to calculate GCD of these two numbers. So whatever is largest among the two will be considered as the dividend. So this is my dividend, 64. 14 will be my divisor. So I'm going to divide that. So we know that 14/4 will give us 56 and we will be getting 8 as the remainder. And for calculating GCD, we need to repeat this process until we get the divisor as 0. So whatever is the remainder in my previous step will be the divisor right now, and what is the divisor in my previous step will become dividend right now. So 8 ones will give us 8 and we will be getting 6 as the remainder, and whatever is the dividend in previous divisor in previous will become the dividend right now. 6 ones 6 will give us 2 as the remainder. So 6 will become the current dividend and 2 will become the divisor. So 2 threes will give us 6. So we got 0 as the remainder. Whatever is the previous, we can't move further because we got divisor as 0. Okay. So whatever is your previous divisor, make it as the current dividend. So this will be our GCD. Okay. When we need to stop, when divisor is 0, then we need to stop. Let's take one more example of those numbers. Let's go 17 and 7 will be my numbers. I want to find the GCD of these two numbers. So largest will be taken as the dividend, smaller will be taken as the divisor. 7 twos will give us 14. So remainder will be 3. So previous divisor will be my current dividend, that is 7 will become the dividend, and 3 twos will give us 6. 1 will be the remainder. Previous divisor will become the current dividend. 1 threes will give us 3, and 0 will be the divisor. So my previous dividend divisor will become the current dividend, but we need to stop here. We can't divide further. Whenever we got the remainder as 0, so that dividend will be the GCD. So in this lecture, we are going to draw the flow chart for GCD calculation. So we have to take 2 inputs from the user, 2 numbers from the user. So I enter first number, double quotes closed, N1. Similarly, take second number from the user, enter second number, N2. And we have to select which one is largest as the dividend. So if N1 is greater than N2, if this condition is getting satisfied, then we have to make N1 as dividend. So in this I will be writing dividend as N1 and divisor as N2. And if this condition is not getting satisfied, then we have to make N2 as dividend and N1 as divisor. N1 as divisor. Okay. So I hope you people can understand this thing. Whatever is greater will be the dividend. Okay. So next thing is to use the looping construct. Okay. So we have to repeat this process until our divisor is equals to 0. You can also use single equals to, because whatever is written in the decision symbol will be considered as a condition. Okay. But I will prefer to use double equals to. So next thing is we have to divide it, and we have to do 3 calculations right now. First calculation is calculate the remainder. Okay. How to calculate the remainder? Dividend mod divisor. So next step is whatever is the current divisor make it as the next dividend. Okay. And last step is whatever is the remainder will be the next divisor. We need to check this logic. Okay, first of all, we have to make the divisor as the next dividend. Then we have to update the divisor. Okay, it's correct. And in the end, we have to print the output. Output will be the GCD. GCD is stored in the last dividend. GCD of, let's print the value of the numbers N1, double quotes, space, remove the space and space, concatenated with the value of N2, concatenate with the message is space is whatever is the GCD, it is stored in dividend. Okay. Let's check whether it is working properly or not. Okay. So we will be checking it for 64 and 14. So in this we should get 2 as the GCD, as we have already calculated this in a previous lecture. So in this we should get the dividend as 2 in last. So as you can see, the values of divisors and dividend is getting changed. Okay, so we got the correct result. GCD of 64 and 14 is 2. Let's check it once more for 17 and 7. Let's take first number as smaller, second number as largest. So in this part will be getting bigger. So in this we should get 1 as the GCD. Okay, of 7 and 17 we should get 1 as the GCD. Let's see whether we get the correct or not. Okay, so GCD of 7 and 17 is 1. This lecture we are going to understand the logic of checking whether a given number is prime or not. So we know that all the prime numbers have 2 factors, either 1 or itself. Okay, let's take the example 7. 7 is a prime number. It can be divisible by 1 and 7. Let's take the example of 12. 12 is not a prime number because it can be divided by 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 12. All these numbers can divide 12. So 12 is not a prime number. It is a composite number. Okay. So what is the logic of checking whether a given number is prime or not? So let's suppose I want to check 7. Okay. So I have to start from 2. Start dividing it by 2. Why not 1? Because everything is divisible by 1. So divide it by 2 first. Check whether the remainder is 0 or not. Divided by 3. Divided by 4. Divided by 5. Divided by 6. And don't divide it by 7 because we know that it is divisible by itself. So we have to divide it by 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and we have to check whether the remainder is 0 or not. If we are getting remainder 0 in any of the case, then that number is not prime number. We can reduce the number of calculations by considering it that we have to check till the half of the number. Like that means we need not to divide it by 4, 5 and 6. We need to check only to divide 7 by 2 and 3. If it is divisible, then that means the number is not prime. If it is not divisible, that means the number is prime. So in every step we need to increase the value of denominator by 1. We need to keep the numerator as same. Okay, and in if any of the division gives us the remainder 0, then we have to indicate to the loop that we need to exit the loop. Okay, so for indication we will be using the flag variable. Flag variable can be any variable. Let's suppose x is initially 0. Okay, and I am checking whether 8 is prime or not. Okay, 8, half of the 8 is 4. So I will be checking it by 2, 3 and 4. Need not to check by 5 because double of 5 is 10. So it is of no use. So divided by 2. So we know that we will be getting remainder 0. That means we have to change the flag from 0 to 1. This is an indication variable. Okay, so this will indicate to the loop that it need to exit before checking, need not to check it by 3 and 4. If it is divisible by 2, that means it is not a prime number. We need not to check it by the rest of the numbers. So this is the use of flag variable, and we need to keep all these points in our mind whenever we have to draw the flow chart. Okay, 2-3 more points are that 2 is not 2 is a number which is even, but it is prime number. Okay, so it is even, but it is a prime number. And except 2, all the prime numbers like 4, 6, as all the numbers, these are not prime numbers. All the numbers 4, 6, 8 are non-prime numbers. So all the even numbers except 2 are non-prime numbers. These are composite numbers. So we have to keep all these points in our mind when we are going to draw the flowchart in our next lecture. So in this lecture, we are going to draw the flowchart for checking whether a given number is prime or not. Okay, let's start. First of all, we have to take the number from the user, enter a number to check whether it is prime or not. Whether it is prime or not. Okay, store that number in n variable, and this. So you got this message. After this, we have to start the division by 2, not 1, because everything is divisible by 1. So we have to take the denominator as 2 initially, and we will be increasing it during every iteration of the loop. And next thing is, we have to take one flag variable which is going to indicate that whether any of the denominator has given us the remainder 0 by dividing the given number by the denominator value. So initially it will be 0. Okay, we will be changing it to 1 whenever we got anything as 0 as a remainder. Okay, so during any of the iteration. Next thing is, first of all, we need to remove all the numbers which are even except 2. So for that we will be using the selection part. So in this, the first condition is all the numbers which are going to give us the remainder as 0. That means all the even numbers. Okay, and we need to mention one more thing, and the number if it is not equals to 2, because we know that 2 is even and it is a prime number. So we need to exclude the 2. If 2 is not equals to, this symbol is for not equals to, exclamation followed by the equals to. So we have written both the conditions. If this condition is getting satisfied, then we need to print that number is composite. Okay, directly print n concatenated with the message is composite. Okay, we need not to check it because all the even numbers except 2 are non-prime numbers, all those are composite numbers. Okay, so we have removed all the even numbers except 2. So if the number is a non-prime is an odd number, so we need to check it whether it is a prime number or non-prime number. Like 15 is an odd number, but it is not a prime number. Okay, so we need to check all the odd numbers here. So first step is we have to use a loop here, because we need to divide it again and again, and we need to mention the condition if the denominator is greater than the half of the number. Let's suppose we are checking 8. 8 is not a prime number. So let's suppose we are checking 7. So half of 7 is 3.5. Let's take the let's remove the fractional part. Take it as 3 only. So we will be dividing it by 2 and 3. Let's suppose we started dividing it by 4. So this condition will not be, this condition will become satisfied and we have to exit the loop. Okay, so we need to check it only till the half. Okay, and we need to check one more thing, if the flag is 1 or not. If it is already 1, that means any of the iteration has given us the remainder as 0, so it will become 1 from 0. So we need to exit the loop. Okay, if both the conditions are not getting satisfied, then we need to check the remainder by dividing the number by d. So next thing is we have to divide it. We need to use one more selection symbol here. So I will be writing n mod d. If we are getting 0 as the remainder, so we need to change the value of x here. Sorry, I need to remove this. We need to check the value of, we need to change the value of x here. So if we got remainder as 0, so on the yes part, change the value of x to 1. So in your next step, it is going to be x equals to 1 and it is going to exit. Okay, need not to divide it by further denominators. But if this condition is not getting satisfied, that means you haven't got a remainder as 0. That means the number is not getting divisible. So we need to check it by the next denominator. So increase the value of d in the no part. So d will be d plus 1 for my next iteration. Now we need to repeat it until we get any of these two conditions got satisfied, and in the end, after checking for all the denominators, okay, after checking for all the denominators, if the denominator becomes greater than the half of the number, then we need to exit the loop. Okay, because let's suppose if I'm checking for 7, if it is becoming greater than 3, that is 4, double of 4 is 8, so it is greater than the number itself, so need not to check it. Okay, so next thing is here I will be using a selection symbol. So to check whether x is still 0 or not. If x is still 0, that means not even in a single division we got the remainder as 0. X is still 0 as we have already given it. So that means number is prime. So we need to print it, that n concatenated with message is prime. Okay, otherwise we have to print that number is composite, that is non-prime. Number n is composite. Composite spelling, do not do spelling mistakes. Okay, so let's check it. So first of all, I am giving 7. It should give me that 7 is prime. Okay, let's check whether we are getting correct results or not. So it is dividing by 2, 3, and then it got. So last time the denominator was 4 when it got out of the loop. Let's check it for a composite number. Let's check it for 2. So in this 2 is getting checked here. So x is 2 is prime. Okay, let's check for an even number except 2. Let's check 14. So 14 is a composite. Okay. So in this lecture, we are going to learn about the Fibonacci series. Okay. So this is my Fibonacci series. How we get these values? Let me explain you this. So in Fibonacci series, we have the first value as 0. This is fixed value. We have the second value as 1. So these two terms, 0 and 1, are fixed. If I want to calculate the next term, n represents the next term, it can be calculated by the sum of first plus second value. So first is 0. 0 plus 1 will give us the 1, which is going to be the next value. So we got 3 values. Okay. So if I want to calculate the next value, so it will be the sum of previous two. Like these two were added to give this value. Similarly, these two will be added to give me the next value. So whenever we are going to proceed further, we have to change the values of first and second. Initially it is 0 and 1, but next step will be first will be carrying the value of my previous second, and second will be carrying the value of my previous next. Like in this case, first will become the previous, this will become f, and this will become my second. Okay, so for calculating the next value, first is 1 plus 2, I will be getting the next value as 3. So if I am going to add these two values, I will be getting this 3. Okay, next time we are going to make this as first, this as second. So 2 plus 3 will be 5. This will be my next. In next step, this will be my first, this will be my second, and this will be my next. Further, we can proceed as many terms as we can. We can print those number of terms. Okay, so let's draw a flow chart for printing the Fibonacci series. Let's discard the content. Open RAPTOR Flowchart. Okay, I have already saved. Okay, this is previous one. Let's create a new one. Save. Okay, let's save this So this will be my flow chart number 12th flow chart. Okay, so let's start. First of all, we have to ask the user how many terms he wants to print. Okay, enter the number of terms. Enter the number of terms of Fibonacci. It's n double series to be printed. Correct. Enter the number of terms of Fibonacci series to be printed. Okay, I will be storing the terms in terms variable. Okay. So the next thing is we have to take a loop variable. So for taking a loop variable, I will be taking it as I, and I should be terms minus 2, because if I want to print 8 terms, so the first 2 terms are automatically fixed, that is 0 and 1. So I should iterate 6 times through my loop. Okay. So next thing is take one more assignment symbol, one more. This is for fixing the value of first value, and it will be a 0. You can write it complete if you want. First, this will be my second value, which is going to be 1. Okay, these 2 values are fixed. After taking these 2 values, you can print these 2 values also. Directly print it, then we are going to print the rest over. So just print the value of first variable here. Okay, before this you can print a message also, or if you want to print it in a new line, then it's okay, no issues. So let's suppose we want to print a message before this. Okay, like a message can be the series, Fibonacci series is Fibonacci series is. So we should write our message in double quotes. So after this, I will be printing the value of first variable here. Why it is not getting inserted? Still, I need to type it. I think the suggestion box is not working. So, insert output symbol once more to print the value of second variable. Okay, so we will be getting the message along with 0 and 1. So we have to take one more variable, that is next, which is initialized to 0. So next will be initialized to 0, and then we have to start the loop. Okay, it will be starting from 1. So for taking the loop variable, we should take one more assignment symbol, which is going to start from 1 and it will go till less than 2. Okay, let's take the loop variable as loop L. Let's take the loop variable as 1. Okay, and it should be executed how many times? It should be executed less than 2 number of times less than the required number of times, because already 2 terms have been printed. Okay, so let's select the loop symbol here and mention our condition. The condition is that if the number of iterations are more than the number of terms, we want to print 6 more terms which are stored in I variable. If L increases more than I, then we should exit. Okay, if you want to remove this step, then also we can do this. We can directly write terms minus 1, minus 2, not 1. So we can directly write this thing. If this condition is getting satisfied, then we need to exit it. Okay, otherwise we need to move inside the loop and we need to print the next value again and again. So here next will be calculated as let's take the next as the variable. It will be calculated as first plus second. So like this, and we need to print the value of next inside this loop, because if we are going to skip this part, we are going to change the values of next during next iteration. So print the value of next here, and then change the value of first and second inside this. So insert two assignment symbols inside this. So next time first will be the current second. We need to write it in this two parts. The current second will become the next first, and the current next will become the next second. And all the things are intact, and we need to increase the value of loop variable also. So L will be L plus 1. Let's execute. I want to print first 8 terms. As you can see, the values of first, second, next are getting changed. Okay, and it is going to stop whenever L is going to become, this is my L, not I, whenever L is going to become 7, because whenever 7 is greater than 6, terms minus 2, terms is 8, so whenever L is going to be 7, it is going to stop the loop, and we have got 0, 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8 and 13, all are my values of Fibonacci series.
In this lecture, we are going to learn about array. Array is the collection of elements of same type. Like if I want to take the data as numbers, so I can collect numbers in one single data structure. Okay. Data structure is the form, it is an organization of data in the memory. Okay. Array is a data structure in which we can store the data which is related to each other, which is of same type. That means if it is numbers, then all the data is of number type. Let's take the example of a student. We want to store the marks of a student for 5 subjects, and I want to calculate the total of the marks obtained for 5 subjects. So in the simple way, we can take 5 variables like M1, M2, M3, M4, M5. So either we can take 5 variables or we can use the concept of array. So let me give you the example that how we can store it in array. So I will be taking an array by the name of marks. So within the square bracket, I have to mention that how many number of values I want to store. So if I want to store 5 subjects marks, then I will be writing 5. If I want to store the marks for 7 subjects, then I will be writing 7 here. Okay. So it starts from the index, starting from 0 index till 1 less than the size. So it starts from 0, 1, 2, 3 and it will go till 4 in most of the programming languages. But in case of Raptor, it will start from 1 and it will go till 5. Okay. So we will be using this concept, and whenever we want to change the value, so first of all it should take, in case of Raptor it should take marks 1, then 2, then 3, then 4, then 5. So we want to change the value which is inside this. So we will be taking an variable here which is index, and I will start it from 1 and I will be increasing it during the repetition. Okay, that is during the iteration of the loop, and we will be taking the maximum condition is if index is greater than 5, then it should exit the loop. So let's start how it is going to work. So let's draw the flowchart for this. First of all, we have to take the index which starts from 1 in case of Raptor, but we will take it as 0 in programming languages. Okay. And second thing is you have to start the loop, and the condition of the loop is if index is greater than 5, then we should exit the loop. We want to enter the marks for 5 subjects. If it is more than 5, then it should exit the loop. If it is less than 5, then it should ask the user to enter the marks. Okay. So for taking the marks from the user, we will be writing a message, enter marks of student. and I will be writing my variable, it's array name. So within the square brackets, we will be writing the index. Index starts from 1 and it will go till 5 because we have written a condition if it is greater than 5, then it should exit the loop. So we will be getting like this, marks within the square brackets, the index. And then the next step is we have to increase the index value for the next repetition. So it should be, index should be increased in every repetition. So index plus 1. So next time it will be marks 2, then marks 3, marks 4, marks 5. Whenever it is going to be marks 6, then it is going to exit. Okay. So after taking the input from the user, now the index value will be 6. We need to reset it once. So we will be doing copy paste here. Okay. We need to start it again from 1, and I will be using the same loop structure with the same condition. If index is getting more than 5, then we should exit the loop. And here I will want to print the values for all the subjects, as well as I want to calculate the total marks obtained by this student also. Okay. So first of all, if I want to print the value, so I will be writing my message like marks obtained in subject, then double quotes closed with a space before that, concatenated with the index, because index will be representing the subject number. So concatenated with the message space is, put a space before closing the quotes also, then print the marks along with the index. Then only the marks will be there. Okay, so our message will be like this, and we have to increase it. So we will be using this step once again. Okay. So before doing the increment, I want to calculate the sum also. Okay. I want to calculate the sum here. So I have to initialize it to 0 to avoid the garbage values. Garbage values are random values which are taken from the memory. So I don't want to do any kind of error in my code. So I will be doing it as 0 initial sum plus whatever are the marks at a particular index during the repetition. So sum will be calculated like this. Sum is 0 initially plus marks for one subject, then it is going to add to second subject, third and fourth. So let's execute it. So we have created our whole flowchart. We skipped one thing. We have to print the final sum also. So we will be writing total marks obtained, then concatenated with sum variable. So let's execute this one. First of all, we have to enter the marks for first subject 50, then marks for second subject 60, third subject 70. He's very intelligent. 80. And next is 10. So as you can see, the value of some variable is increasing. 50 plus 60, 110, then 70, 180, plus 80, then 260, plus 90, that will be 350. So it was going to exit after this. And we got marks obtained in subject 1, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, along with the subject numbers, because we have printed the index here. So total marks obtained was 3.
So in this lecture, we are going to learn about 2D arrays. So in 2D arrays, the data is represented in the form of tables, that is in the form of rows and columns. So as you can see, here I have taken one example in which 2 rows are there, each having 3 columns. So let's suppose this is my first row. In RAPTOR, we start the index from 1, but in programming languages, we can start the index from 0. It's a limitation of RAPTOR, we can't start the index from 0. So that's why I'm taking it in the same way to make it more clear to all of you. So, this is my first row. The first number represents the row. The second number represents the column. Row number 1, column number 1. Row number 1, column number 2. Row number 1, column number 3. Row number 2, column number 1. Row number 2, column number 2. Row number 2 and column number 3. Let's suppose I have some values in all these. I want to insert some values. So what I have to do?
I have to start a loop loop, sorry. So in a row loop, I will be starting it from 1, and I am having two rows here, and for every row repetition I will be taking 3 input values for 3 columns. Okay, so in this way we will be able to enter how many elements? Total 6 elements in 2 cross 3 matrix. We also call 2D arrays as matrix. So 2 cross 3 will be 6. So we can have total 6 elements, and in my example I want to calculate the sum of all. Okay, so we will be doing the flowchart in next lecture. In this lecture we are going to draw a flowchart to understand the concept of 2D arrays. Okay, so first of all we have already covered one example in a previous lecture, so I will be drawing the flowchart for the same example. So in that example we have taken maximum rows as 2 rows. Max rows were 2 and maximum number of columns were 3. And I have already told you that we need to use 2 loops, one to change the value of columns and second one to change the value of rows. So in this we will be using one variable for representing the row variable. So that will be r starting from 1, and after this we have to use 2 loops, one for rows and insert one more inside this, second for columns. So the outer one is for rows and the inner one is for columns. So before starting the inner one we have to insert the column variable, which is going to start from 1 till the maximum number of columns. So right now we have done the initialization of loop variables. R is my row loop variable and C is my column loop variable. And here I will be writing, this is my column loop variable. So I will be writing if C is equals to max columns. So we should exit from the loop. And similarly the lower condition will be if R is equals to maximum number of rows, then we should exit from the row loop also. And for the next repetition of both the loops we have to increase the value of column and row. So in these boxes I will be increasing the value of column. Here I have increased the value of column and here I am increasing the value of row. So we have made the skeleton of the loop. Okay, so this was my initialization of row and column loop, and these are my 2 conditions, and I have done increment. So next step is I want to take the input from the user for the 6 entries. 6 entry means 2 rows each having 3 columns, 2 into 3, total 6 entries will be given by the user. So I have to take the input from the user. So before checking the condition of the columns, let's ask the user to input, because at least for one element it is going to be there. So my message will be enter 2D array elements. So array name is grid, as we have already done it in a previous lecture. So row R represents my row and C represents my column. It's not array, it's array. It's Y. Do not do spelling mistakes as I am doing. So this is the skeleton for taking the input from the user. Let's run this part right now. Is it working properly or not? So it is going to ask you the user 6 number of times. So this is my first entry, my second entry, third entry. As you can see in the watch window, the variables are getting changed. Fourth entry, fifth entry, and sixth last. So after this we have total 34 symbols have been evaluated. This is the execution output of previous. Okay. So I have tested it on time. So next thing is we will be using this same part once more to present the values to the user. So copy all this and paste it. So all the same structure have been copied here. instead of taking the input from the user, we will be using the sum calculation here. So initialize the sum variable here to 0. We are going to do the sum of all the entries given by the user. So in this, we are going to add sum equals to sum plus value of grid at index R and C. R and C are my row and column simultaneously, and we need not to take this thing. I don't think this is okay. Yeah, it is required because column entry is there. So we should space this thing. You can remove this because we can't access C outside my column loop. So in the end, we will be printing the sum of the array elements. So the message will be sum of 2D array elements is space double quotes closed sum. Okay. If you want to print the elements also, then also it is possible, but that you need to write it inside this. That has to be printed here. We can print it like this: array element at row, whatever is the row number will be written here after the double quotes in the form of R. R is my row variable. Okay, concatenated with array element at R, row number along with the C, that is the column number, space whatever is the value of C there. So the message is, you should be comfortable with writing all these things. You need to do a practice. Okay, grid R, comma C. Let's see whether it is having any type of error or not. Okay, I am getting an error here. So array element at R, C. Okay, I haven't written concatenation symbol here. So all the other things are working properly. So we have calculated the sum. We are printing the array elements also. We are printing the final result also. Final sum. Let's execute this. I will be taking simple values. Okay. So it will be 2, 3. 2 plus 3 is 5. So next will be 4. 5 plus 4 is 9. And next value is, let's suppose 3. 12. Next value is 5. 17. And next thing is take 3. Make it 20. So let's see what is the output of the sum. As you can see, sum is getting calculated, and we have maximum rows as 3, maximum columns as 2. Sum is changing in every iteration. Row numbers are increasing. So this is my second row, column number 3rd, and we got all the elements. Have I done any mistake? Okay, I think I have taken columns. Let's see what is the mistake with this. Is there any mistake? Second, third. Oh my god. It's 20. Sum is correct, but it is not showing all the 6 elements. So 2 plus 3, 5, 5. It is not showing all the elements. Let's see where is the problem. Okay, R is properly written there. C. Okay, I need to move this outside. Yeah, let's execute it one more time. So 2 plus 3, 5 plus 4, 9 plus 6, 15 plus 2, 18 plus 7, 25. So let's see whether we are getting 25. and all the elements should be printed on the output window. As you can see, the values are getting changed in the watch window. So this thing is very helpful for checking your logic, whether it is working properly or not. Okay. So let's see whether we got. So yeah, we got all the elements, and 2 plus 3 is it is showing 24. 2 plus 3 is 5, like 5 plus 4 is 9. 9 plus 6 is 15. 15 plus 2 is 17. Yeah, it's showing the correct answer. Okay, now.
In this lecture, we are going to learn about strings. So I have saved a file in my flowchart folder where I am saving my all the flowchart files. Okay, I have written the name of 3 persons: first name, last name, first name, middle name, and last name. Similarly, the second person name and the third one. Okay. So what we are going to do, we are going to read the content from the file, how the strings are going to be read from this file. So let's draw a flowchart for this. First of all, whenever we are redirecting the input, we have to use this symbol. In this, I will be using the redirect inbuilt procedure. To call inbuilt procedures, we use this symbol, call symbol. So I'm writing true here so that it should give me the dialog box to select my file by my own. So this is going to give me a dialog box with the help of which I can select the file in which I have stored all the strings, the name of the persons. So after this, I will be using a loop because I want to read the name of 3 persons repetitively. So in loop, I will be writing my condition that I want to read the content till the end of the input. So end of the input. End of the input, we have to read the content, and in this we want to read the content in 3 different parts. First of all, the first name, the first line is the first name of the person. So enter first name. Second thing is the variable name. F name is my variable name. Similarly, we have to edit for the second one. Enter middle name, double quotes close. The variable name is M name, and the last is the last name. Enter last name. Variable name will be L name. L name represents the variable name for last name. As we have taken from the input from the user, so I want to take the input from the file and I want to print it simultaneously. So for printing, I have to use an output symbol. I want to print the output on the console instead of a file first of all. So if I want to print the name, I will be using the first name variable concatenated with a space in between that, concatenated with the middle name. For middle name, I want to print only one character, only first character, and put a space after that, and last name should be printed complete. Okay, so let's execute. So we got a dialog box in which we can select the file in which I have stored the name of the 3 persons. So it is taking first name as Gurinderjeet, then middle name as Kaur, last name as Nath, and it is changing it for the second and third persons. So we got Gurinderjeet and the first character of the middle name K and the surname. So it is representing all name of all the 3 persons. Let's do some changes. I want to store the output in a file. So let's create a text file here for storing the output. I am naming it as output name. Okay. So I am going to edit my flowchart, and in this I am going to redirect the output also. Redirect output. So I am going to give true. True means it should give me the option to select the file by my own. And I want to edit the output. First, I want to add a prefix. All the name of the persons are females, so I want to add a prefix in front. So I will be taking a variable prefix So this prefix is going to store a string. So strings are written in double quotes. Miss will be the prefix. Okay, so this is the difference in integers and strings. Integers are directly written, okay, the numbers, and strings are written in double quotes whenever we are initializing them. Okay, and I'm going to write this thing in my file. So we are getting an option to select the input file. I selected name as the input file. Then I'm selecting my output file. So this time the output will not be in master console. It will be in my file. As you can see, first name, last name, middle name are getting changed, but the prefix is missing. Okay, MS. So this time we haven't got any output. This is the output of my previous execution. This time 25 symbols have been evaluated. One additional symbol of output and one additional symbol of prefix. Let's see the output in a file. This was my file. So I got my output. Okay, I haven't got prefix here. Okay, I haven't inserted it in output. I need to insert it in the starting. Prefix concatenated with the first name. So let's see how it is going to be there. So let's execute it one more time. Select the input file. Select the output file. So Miss is there, Gurinderjeet Kaur Nath, and all the names are getting presented here. After the execution, we will be getting our output in the file, not on the console. On console, we got a message that run has been completed. So let's see the output file. So we got Miss in front of all the names. You can make it as small as also. Okay.
In this lecture, we are going to create a procedure within the Raptor environment. So first of all, you have to select the mode intermediate for doing so. I will be creating two procedures. One procedure for doing the sum of two numbers and second one for doing the subtraction of two numbers. So for doing so, we have to take two inputs from the user. So enter your message, enter first number. Store it in N1. Similarly, take one more value from the user. Enter second number N2. So after this, we have to add one procedure in our flowchart and give the name of the procedure. Procedures are also known as functions. So this is my name of procedure. Here I will be writing my first input. So my first input is N1, my second input is N2, and rest is I will be taking one output, that is R1, for the result of addition. So I got two input variables N1 and N2 and one output variable. So after this, we have to do the addition inside this assignment symbol. So R1 will be N1 plus N2. So whatever is the result will be returned back to my main procedure. So this is my sum procedure, this is my main procedure. So whatever is the result will be returned in this. So before taking the result, we have to call that procedure. So I will be able to call it because I have created it. So write N1, N2, R1 in the same sequence. Okay. So after this, we can print our output. So we can write addition of given numbers is space double quotes closed sum, not in sum, in R1. So we got our first procedure. Let's execute this. So first of all I am entering 14, then 16. So like this it shifted to the second procedure. Let's execute it one more time to see the flow. So in this I am entering my 17 value, then 13. So it shifted to the sum procedure and it got executed. Okay, let's add one more procedure in main. So this one is for doing the subtraction. First input variable is n1, second input variable is n2, and third is my output variable. It is not input variable, it is output variable r2. So here I will be doing the subtraction of n1 and n2. So r2 will be n1 minus n2. So let's call this thing. We can copy these two symbols, add it below this, and we can edit this. So in place of sum, I can write subtract. Okay, we need to edit the r1 variable. It should be r2 for subtraction, and so subtraction, or we can also call it as difference of two numbers. Difference of given numbers is r2. So we got our thing. So let's execute this. So I'm entering 20, 10. So it shifted to sum, then it again shifted to subtract, and we got both the outputs. Addition of given numbers is 30, difference of given numbers is 10.
Congratulations for completing the course, and thanks from my side for enrolling in this course. If you are having any queries, you can message me personally. Don't miss to give your ratings and reviews. And if you are having any queries regarding the inbuilt functions or something regarding the RAPTOR tool, you can check the help box also. And thanks once again.